It all started on a quiet Sunday afternoon in Manchester. My name is Margaret, a 56-year-old widow who raised my only son, Daniel, with everything I had. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes coming home at midnight, just to make sure he had a good life. When Daniel introduced me to his fiancée, Amelia, I prayed she would love him as fiercely as I did. At first, Amelia seemed sweet, polite smiles, soft voice, always dressed in elegance. Her family was wealthy, and I could tell she looked at my modest house with a hint of pity. But I ignored it. Love, I told myself, is stronger than class or money. Weeks later, we gathered at her family home for an engagement dinner. I had promised Daniel I would sponsor most of the wedding, something he and Amelia seemed to rely on. I didn't mind. After all, what mother wouldn't want to see her son happy? But that evening, something happened that shattered me. As the plates were being cleared, Amelia's mother jokingly asked who would be helping with the wedding preparations. Amelia, without a blink, turned to her family and said, "Well, Daniel's mum is practically a maid. She's always serving or cleaning. She'll be good for that." The room erupted with laughter. Her family laughed. Even Amelia smirked, sipping her wine. And Daniel? He froze. He didn't laugh, but he didn't defend me either. I felt the blood drain from my face. All my years of sacrifice, all the nights I worked myself to exhaustion, dismissed with one cruel word. A maid. I swallowed hard, forced a smile, and said nothing. But inside, something broke. That night, when Daniel walked me to my car, I told him quietly, "The wedding, I will not be sponsoring it anymore." He looked at me in shock. "Mum, you can't do that. You promised." "I promised my son," I whispered. "Not her. Not after tonight." The weeks that followed. Amelia was furious when she learned. She accused me of trying to control her marriage. Her parents called me bitter. Daniel pleaded, begged me to reconsider, but I stood firm. As the wedding date drew closer, cracks began to show. Daniel started noticing Amelia's true colors: her constant obsession with money, her disdain for my background, her entitlement. When financial stress hit, because her family refused to cover what I withdrew, Amelia's patience snapped. She began to insult Daniel, belittling his salary, comparing him to her exes who were more successful. He tried to defend her, but doubt was already planted. One evening, while scrolling through Amelia's phone, Daniel discovered messages between her and an old flame. Messages that weren't just friendly. Messages that proved she had been keeping her options open just in case he couldn't live up to her standards. Daniel was crushed. When he confronted her, Amelia didn't apologize. Instead, she sneered, "Do you really think I'd marry into a poor family? Without your mother's money, what do you even have to offer me?" That was the moment the scales fell from his eyes. Daniel walked away, calling off the wedding just a week before the big day. Amelia and her family tried to smear my name, painting me as the jealous mother who ruined her son's future. But truth spreads, and soon people began to see Amelia for who she really was. Months later, Daniel came to me with tears in his eyes. "Mum," he said, voice breaking, "I should have defended you that night. I should have listened. You saw what I couldn't." I hugged him, holding the little boy I once carried in my arms. "Love blinds us, son. But respect should never be negotiable." Daniel eventually found peace, and years later, he met someone new. A woman who didn't judge, didn't mock, and didn't see me as a maid but as family. Respect is the foundation of any relationship. Without it, love cannot survive. Money cannot buy character. True intentions reveal themselves when wealth and status are stripped away. A parent's sacrifice deserves honor, not ridicule. Gratitude is the mark of a worthy partner. Sometimes, betrayal is a blessing in disguise. It removes the wrong people to make space for the right ones.